Oh, I'm so excited today. I feel like a lot of my Scorpio energy coming in here. So let's see what happens. Welcome everyone. Oh, it's so good to see all of you from all over the world. And I just really want to take a moment to honor that we are able to connect from every corner of the world in this way. It's so fortunate and we're so lucky to be here and to be able to do this together. Wow. Big global community. So, welcome to Manipulative Energy Work versus Transformative Energy Work. I'm Deborah Hannekamp. You may know me as Mama Medicine, but you can call me Deborah or Debbie, never Deb. And I wanted to give you today like a very, very, very tempting taste of what I'm offering in my course, Witchwise, that starts on Monday. And you know, I'm going to be giving you a lot in this webinar. I think you'll walk away from this feeling really empowered to be your own healer for sure, and probably empowered as well to hold space for others becoming their own healer. So I'm really going to be giving you a lot in this webinar. You might want to take notes, but it is really just a teeny tiny taste of what I'm offering in my course, Witchwise. You know, I personally feel that Witchwise is as close as I feel comfortable getting to like a mentorship kind of situation. And that is because I really deeply feel that you should be an apprentice to your own soul's calling. So I can't teach you to do what I do, but I can share my experience with you and hope that it will help you and guide you to do what you do and be an apprentice to your own soul's calling. And you know, what I do is a offering called medicine readings. Maybe a lot of you know that already, so I don't want to get too into all of that. But the main basis of my work is being able to read people very well, predominantly through the aura and the aura colors and the shapes that come through in the aura. And this is a gift that I've had for as long as I can remember. And it's not something that I can teach other people how to do, but it is something that was so powerful and so strong in me that I just started this work at an incredibly young age. And now, over 20 years later, I'm still going at it, and I'm still feeling like I'm just at the beginning of what I have to offer to the world. However, I feel like, you know, now I'm getting more into a place where I've had years and years and years of experience, and I feel like I can share from a place of wisdom and not necessarily from a place of intellect or just reiterating and repeating what I've heard before. I feel like the healing work that I do is the only thing that I can do. It's the only thing that I can do really well. Well, I'd like to think I'm a really good mom too, or at least I try. But I think that because of that, I just got called to healing work super young. Like, I didn't know how to put words to what I wanted to do when I was graduating high school, but I knew that it was to help heal the world. That was my intention. So I got started out super young, and I am the type of person where if I'm interested in a topic, I'm going to read all the books. I'm going to take all the courses. I'm going to learn all the things. I'm going to like just go full on blindly into anything that deeply calls my heart. And I found along the way in the healing world that there was a lot of truth, especially for me, truth in relationship to healing coming from nature. But I also met a lot of charlatans and just very, very egotistical healers on some kind of pedestal or teachers on some kind of pedestal. And I felt like, or maybe it's a Scorpio in me, maybe it's like that inner rebel in me, but I felt so frustrated when I would see this, like, especially the charlatans who are, they're wearing like some kind of like cool outfit and they're telling you that they're like healing this person and that person and they fixed this person's life and they did this great thing and they did that great thing, and they're like total creeps or just like greedy, like egomaniacs. And unfortunately, I think that we're going to start to see a lot more of these kinds of people, just like the charlatans. It's the only way I'm just going to like come out with it. It's like the charlatans. We're going to see a lot more of these kind of people emerging as we're in kind of like a painful place in the collective energy in the world right now. And unfortunately, some people want to exploit the pain that people were in. They'll say, oh, you're hurt, I see that, I'll take it and I'll fix it for you. And so this webinar, for me, it also feels like something where, I'm always so careful of not giving away my secret sauce with healing work, but this webinar for me feels like something that I would actually want to give away for free. This is something that I want everyone to know. This is something that I want to share publicly. I don't want anything back for it. I just want this information out there, that there is a very, very big difference between manipulative energy work and transformative energy work. And I'm not really interested in naming who these sort of like spiritual creeps and charlatans are pointing fingers at anybody, because I really feel like everybody is on their own path and, they have to find their own ways towards healing. But as a young woman in the healing world and in the spiritual world, I really experienced so much of that creepiness directed at me. And I think that this is also a way for me, maybe it's like the mama part of the mama medicine, it's a way for me to just try and offer a little bit of protection and guidance to people who are starting out on their path, or maybe they're in something and they're not sure if it feels energetically balanced or if it feels right for them. So for me, this offering today, it's really, yes, my hope is to give you just the teeniest, tiniest taste of Witchwise, but it's also me sharing information that I want to be out there. I want this to be out there. I think it's so important. And for those of you who have been following my work for a while, you've probably seen me say a million times, it's even the subtitle of my book, Ritual Baths. You've probably seen me say, be your own healer, be your own healer. And I believe in this so much, and my past with the healing world, although there was like so much beauty in it, and there continues to be so much beauty in it, some of the harder lessons I learned, or the more shadowy lessons I learned, made me realize the importance of being one's own healer, and has also inspired me to just, take the sort of filter off of what I put out there into the world and share this with you today. So, true to form with any offering that I do, this is very much a heart offering. And I have some key points that I want to bring forward for you. But I also want to leave room for whatever is meant to come through for our collective group. I think we have somewhere around 500 people joining us today. I want to just leave room for what our collective energy is needing. So first, I want to just give you a moment to close your eyes and place one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. And take a few deep breaths. And as you're breathing here, just focus in really strongly on who or what it is that you love the most in this world. And really, really hold your focus there. And as you're doing this, just notice how you feel. Good. Letting the eyes filter open, coming back into the space. So do you feel the levity and the lightness and the flow that comes in just from under 2 minutes of focusing in on what you love the most in this world? I want you to remember that. So where I want to begin today is where illness manifests first. And, you know, to me, there's no difference between what is happening spiritually, emotionally, mentally, or physically. But I've noticed throughout the years that illness has the tendency to manifest in the spirit first. So illness manifests first spiritually, and then it feels to me like it seeps into the emotions, and then it seeps into the mind, and then it seeps into the body. So by the time some kind of discomfort has gotten into the body, it's probably been manifesting spiritually for quite some time. And I have an example for you of somebody who came to me a few years back and had really, really intense chronic illness. She had all the different things going on. She had first of all, like kind of undiagnosable chronic illness. And she would go get all these tests trying to find out why she didn't feel good, why she was always so sick and so exhausted. And, you know, when she first came in to see me, I really did see this, just how horrible she felt. You know, she had a grayness to her aura, also a grayness to her skin. Her eyes were kind of dark and sunken in, and just a real kind of heavy, cloudy energy, like the way it feels right before a thunderstorm happens. And I met with her for the first time and was asking her, because in medicine readings, I always like to ask people, okay, well, what are you coming in with? What do you want to work on? I never want to assume that I know what they are ready to heal. So I always ask people, okay, well, what are you bringing into our time together today? And she was just telling me how horrible she was feeling, how she felt like she couldn't eat anything, how she just felt really stressed out about how sick she was, and you know, this illness and that illness and this illness, and it's been going on for so many years. And you know, when I meet with people for medicine readings, and I want you to remember this too, if you're somebody who maybe is fortunate enough to hold a healing space for others in any regard as well, even as a friend or even as a mother. What I've noticed is you have to listen to what people are saying, but you also have to listen to what they are not saying. Listen to what they're saying, but also what are they holding back? You know, what are the things that they're even having a hard time admitting to themselves? And it's not like I would point out to her, okay, now I'm hearing this thing that you're not saying, but it's more that I'm listening. So as she's explaining all of these things, what I was really hearing her say, unfortunately, was, I feel like giving up. Like, I feel like I can't keep going on like this. This is too much for me. I feel like giving up. I want to quit everything. I want to quit healing. And maybe even she wanted to quit life. And so we worked together for some time, but never in this way where she had to come to see me on a specific schedule, but more that she would come to see me whenever she felt to. And we worked together for some time, maybe like a year or two. And by the end of the time of us working together, she had this lightness to her, this vibrancy. Her skin, her eyes were glowing and beautiful. And it was an amazing transformation to bear witness to. And I am so grateful that I got to hold that space for her and really see her and really see what she was processing and how hard it must have been for her. But at the same time, let her be where she was, you know? Not trying to take the illness out of her or to even change too much of how she was feeling. But more what I was focused on was trusting that she can heal and that she will heal. And more what I was focused on was having the confidence in her that she would heal. And through me holding that space of confidence in her, I saw her begin to have that confidence in herself. And okay, it was a little bit about what the guidance I would give her and what I would say to her, but it was a lot more, I think, about me holding that energetic space for her of believing in her, you know, and believing in how powerful she was, that she's a powerful, powerful woman. And she did heal, and she really did turn her life around. And she still has a deep, deep sensitivity, and because of that, different symptoms arise from time to time. But the difference is now she has the confidence to handle those symptoms when they come up, to know that her sensitivity is actually her strength. And this is a very, very important thing, you know? And yeah, I think that we have to listen to what folks are saying and also listen to what they're not saying. And the way that you do that is through really practicing your listening skills. Like in Space by Mama Medicine, my online community, we have a sharing circle. And I always tell the folks in my sharing circle, this is to practice listening. If you want to be a healer, you have to be a really, really good listener. Because you're not just listening to people's words, you're listening to really how they feel, what is their inner voice saying as well as their outer voice. You know, a lot of times in healing, you see a talk about psychic surgery. That's a very, very popular thing, psychic surgery, where you go into somebody's energy field and you cut something out, you take that out, and you put it somewhere. A lot of people don't know where it goes, which is my curiosity. And then you sew the person back up, right? And same with psychic surgery and energy block removal is pretty much in the same camp with energy healing. This is very popular. It's wildly popular. And man, I think first and foremost, I wish that people would know, like, you're not blocked. You're not blocked. Like every obstacle you come up against, even if it is that feeling of being stuck, it doesn't mean that you're blocked. It means that you're getting a moment to pause and reframe and reassess and regroup and regenerate and heal. And yeah, but you know, that feeling of being stuck, let's say, or pain in the body, it can be really uncomfortable. And so we would go into a healer and we'd be like, okay, I'm blocked. And then the healer, if they're working with manipulative energy work, they're going to say, okay, no problem. I can take that out of you. Cut this, cut that. Look, I'm fixing this for you. Sometimes you go to the more like charlatan types, and you're sitting with them and you're telling them about how you're feeling, and they're like, boom, I cleared that for you. I cleared that for you. You see that? That's gone. Like, that's it's showmanship, honestly. It's like, it's acting more. And by the way, I think acting can be incredibly healing. So it's nothing against the performers out there, because I think that's a gift and a form of healing, as is all creative outlets. But you know what I mean. It's like, it's performative healing, basically. It's like, boom, I cleared this, I took that, I cleared that for you, you see what I did, and now you need me, now you need to come back 6 times, and I'm gonna do this and that for you. And you know, it's an interesting thing, because when you work in that way, you really do rob people of doing their own healing work. And I guarantee you that that person will maybe leave feeling healed, but they will come back in like a month with all the same symptoms, because they didn't get to do it themselves. And on top of that, when you work with kind of more manipulative energy work, like psychic surgery and energy block removal and this kind of thing, you are going to get drained. When you do the healing work for someone else, you are going to get drained. I had a woman come in, this is going years back, who was incredibly overweight, feeling really unhealthy in her body. And I asked her, what do you love? What do you love the most? Just like I asked you at the beginning of our time together, what do you love the most? And her first response was, I don't love anything. I don't love anything. Can you imagine what it's like to be in that place? Just like empathy for a moment. Can you imagine what it's like to be in that place where there's nothing that you love? And when she said that to me, I thought to myself, that just can't be true. And I was listening to what she was saying, and I was also listening to what she wasn't saying. And she was coming to me because she was ready to heal. She was ready to feel healthier in her body. And, you know, even that willingness at the jump to take the time to come to see me made me know for sure that that wasn't true, that she didn't love anything. Not true for her. And so eventually, after talking to her a little bit and giving her a little bit of guidance, she found someone who she loves a little bit. And a little bit of love is just enough. A little bit of love is just enough. Why? Because love is the most powerful energy there is. It is so much more powerful than all of the absolute evil that we see coming up today in the world. Love is so much more powerful than fear. Love is so much more powerful than any one human could ever be, and than any pain that we carry could ever be. And I worked with her. I went in and I found that teeny tiny little spark of love. And I took that love and I infused it into her, back into her. So the way the transformative energy work versus manipulative energy work is taking things from outside of someone and putting it in them. It's the energy block, psychic surgery space. It's like often done from a well-intended place, but it leaves people drained, and it leaves you drained, and it leaves the person needing to just repeat the same thing over and over, and the symptom eventually comes back, right? Whereas transformative energy work, you go in and you find that little bit of love, and then you you believe in that power of love, and you believe in the love that is in them. And maybe you pray in your own way, in your own form of prayer, for that love in them to just grow. And this is really, really, this is the correct way to work with manifestation is, and I mean, I can get into a whole deep dive on demanifestation, and I'm gonna do that with you, but not in this webinar. But I'm just gonna say, and I'll get into that in which wise too, but I'm just gonna say, like, you know, a lot of what we see out there in manifestation now, like, oh, you can live this Gucci lifestyle if you just start doing these things or whatever, it's just like a real sign of the times. But the real way to work with manifestation is to manifest healing, like really to manifest health and happiness, and that's about it. That's about it. And yeah, sometimes we need some assistance and things like that to manifest health and happiness, but we want to be careful of not getting into that manipulative space. But anyways, not to go off on that whole tangent. So you go in and you find that little piece of love. It's little piece, right? In that case, in the case with her, it was a little piece. And then you pray and you see that love growing in the person. You know, you manifest the growth of that love in the person. And sometimes there will be certain things, different images that will come through. Perhaps there will be different plants or stones, things that are already within the person's aura that will come through. And you're just seeing all of that being, all of the different ways that love appears to that specific person, being infused into that person's energy. And then you trust the power of love, and this is very, very important. And also you stay really humble with it. It's not you are not doing anything, actually. Like, you are just a vessel for this. You're holding the space, right? You're being the vessel for this love to occur. And you're believing in this person's love, especially this person, as you're praying for them. So you see the difference? Now, when you work with energy healing in that way, where you're working with the power of love, you're going to leave that energy healing session and you're going to be like amped up and ready to go, you know? And this is why I've been doing one-on-one medicine readings for years, and up to 4, sometimes before I was doing even 8 a day. And I would say, like, I tend to be a person who has quite a lot of energy in general, especially because I'm so passionate about what I do. I absolutely love what I do. And a lot of people get to the place where I am in their career and they let go of their one-on-one work because it starts to feel kind of overwhelming. For me, my one-on-one work is like the heart and soul of my work. But when I end a medicine reading, I feel good. I feel that love surging through me. I feel like I could do anything. Like, yes, I held space for that person, but I do not feel drained. If you feel drained after you're doing energy work, you want to really assess why that is. Usually it is because you're working with some kind of energy from outside of yourself. So, you know, this is why I offer the intunements. I'm doing the start of witch trials and intunements are both happening on one day, so I'm really excited about it. But this is why I offer intunements, because intunements is activating your own healing energies. So it's similar to like a Reiki attunement, but instead of calling an energy in from outside of yourself, you're activating your the power of love within you, you know? And I really see that power of love in nature so much. It's everywhere. It's everywhere, especially here in the Northeast United States, like with that feeling of spring coming and this feeling of growth happening. And just really feeling the way that love makes you grow. And I think that love actually makes you grow much, much more powerful than you could ever imagine. So it's important to, to understand that it's not you doing this work, because, and I've seen this a lot along the way, that power can get to your head big time. That power can get to your head big time. Yeah, when I was a young healer, I knew I really wanted to help people, but I was really attached to there being like specific things that healed or not. I think I had like a really strong sense of morality that I was carrying into the healing world from a deeply religious upbringing that maybe wasn't in my highest good. And so I really thought that, like Reiki, meditation, healthy diet, exercise could heal anybody of anything. And so I did all those psychic surgeries. I did all those energy block removals. I did house clearings, and I really experienced being drained. And the combination of working in that way, and that's also how I was being taught to work with energy healing before I went down to the Amazon. But, I did feel actually really, really drained. And honestly, not only was I practicing healing in that way, but I felt like this is it. And I thought being drained was just part of it. And I was teaching so many other people from that place as well, which, what I would consider, looking back on it, like a time where I wasn't working with the best energy. That's something that does haunt me a little bit. But I really look at all of my perceived failures in the past, and I understand that I would not have been able to be where I am today had I not gone through those experiences. And so while I was a young healer, pointing my finger outward at all of these like creepy charlatans, I didn't realize that I was also becoming one of them myself. And I was so incredibly fortunate to meet a couple of really amazing healers and look at the charlatans, look at the true healers, look at myself, and just kind of weigh out, not from a place of judgment, but just weigh out what the difference was in energy. And I was led into that being your own healer place, because to me, it really felt like, okay, this is actually the cleanest place to work from. And I was led into that place of staying really, really humble as a healer, because maybe a lot of you already know and have seen a lot of healer ego, or like yoga teacher ego, or meditation teacher ego yourself. But I was led into that place of humility and humbleness, because for as many people as I've helped hold space for and have really deep success in their healing, I've also had along the way some people who, maybe there was harm caused, maybe there was, maybe they're still mad at me to this day. I also was like way more hands-on and intense with my healing work. I didn't really leave enough space. I always had really good intentions for people, but I didn't trust people. That was my issue. So I didn't really leave enough space for them to find their own way. I didn't leave enough space for them to be their own healer. And so I would work really intensively with people. Like, I had a program set up where I would work with one person for a month, and sometimes I would even have them come and stay at my former business that I had here in Williamsburg in New York from 2007 to 2012, but sometimes I would have them come and stay at my business and work with them like every single hour of every single day, not leaving room for them to find their own way. And at the end of that time, they would be healed, they would feel great, but I would be totally drained, A, and B, they would come back or reach out to me a month later and they're back in the same exact place that they started before I did all that work with them. So, it was draining in so many ways, probably for all involved. And I really had to have that like heart-to-heart moment with myself, like, okay, Dee, let's humble it down a little bit. Let's rein it in, So, yeah, I think I learned the importance of humility and the importance of working with really, really clean energy kind of the hard way. I mean, also, I'm a slow learner, you know what I mean? Like, I need to learn through experience. A lot of people can teach me things, and I love reading books, but sometimes it's like in one ear, out the other, and I just continue on my own way anyways. So, I'm grateful that I was able to have those experiences, and I still help people, but also like humble down a lot at such an early time on my healing journey. And along with that, I learned something, which is that actually there's no difference between healing and being healed. There's no difference between healing and being healed. And the healing work that we do on ourselves radiates out from us and shifts the energy around us. So, when I see a lot of harm out there in the world, or things that just really break my heart, I'm like, okay, damn, I think I have to heal that much more. I think there's still this big wounding in me that I have to heal. And, healing is spiral-like. There's never this like end point, although we would love that linear idea of, I started here, I felt this way, and then I landed here, and then all better. Although we would love that, it's just not how it works. There's so many layers we need to peel back, and actually healing ourselves is about peeling back those layers. It's not about putting stuff on, It's not like, okay, like this crystal, this outfit, this course. It's not about putting stuff on. It's about removing layers. And so if you do to get the crystal, or you wear the thing, or you do the course, is it helping you to take stuff off, or is it helping you to put more on? You want to really know who you are. You want to really know yourself. It takes a long time, maybe a lifetime perhaps, to really know ourselves. The practice of being our own healer is getting to know ourselves more. And we have to peel back so many layers. The conditioning that we're told, this is why I'm working a lot with this word witch right now. I need to reframe that word witch, because a witch is a great transformer. And she's been cast into the shadow for way too long. So we're going to pull her back, right? And a lot of healing actually is about reclaiming different parts of ourselves, who we truly are, and peeling back layers of conditioning, Yeah, we have so much we have to unlearn. We have so much we have to unlearn. And the more peeling back of layers that we do, the more healing actually occurs within us. And the more we begin to realize that we truly are connected to, and we truly are a part of everything. I know that we are all connected has been so incredibly co-opted by, the power hungry in the world, but it doesn't make it not true. It is true. We are all connected. And it's important to hold that space and know that. And, so if I see like tons of ego out there in the world, I know that I have to be that much more humble. I have to approach my work that much more humble. So I would say don't seek credit for the healing work that you do. I would offer that. You know, like, even if you're not working professionally as a healer, you help somebody through something and they don't say thank you, don't worry about it. Because when you help another, you tap into that pay it forward energy, and they might not say thank you to you or give you something back, but eventually that they'll come around to helping someone else. So also don't have expectations for somebody's healing. You know, if you have someone who is incredibly ill, don't have an expectation for them feeling totally healthy by the end of one session with you. Don't have expectations, because remember, healing is spiral-like. It's more of like a winding road, and it's important to let people come to things on their own. So no credit, no expectations. And also not having expectations, because we're trusting people's capability to be their own healer. We're seeing the capability. We're having confidence in them, even sometimes when they can't have confidence within themselves. Also, let yourself be underestimated and violate expectations. You know, when I started off as a healer, I knew I had a lot. I'm bringing you back to the roots a lot today. But I knew I had a lot to offer. But I was also this like 17-year-old kid, and people looked at me like, what the hell do you know? I remember actually feeling like I cannot wait until I look older so people will take me more seriously. And I think that also the way I talk and the energy that I have, I like to be kind of like playful and fun. And so because of that, I'm often underestimated. And actually, that thing of being underestimated is amazing for me, because it's sort of like a superpower of mine. Because a lot of times I know I'll walk into a room and people will be like, oh, look at gentle, and yeah, I am gentle, I am loving. But I'm not weak, you know, and I'm not afraid. And I'm not afraid to say exactly what I'm thinking. And this is like a kind of fun, playful thing. Like, people will underestimate me, and then I get to violate their expectations. And I would say also, don't have any expectations of people giving things back to you. In the Witchwise course, there's a whole section in the week that we go over universal abundance, where I get into how to create a beneficent business, where there's really healthy energy exchanges, and you're really working with clean energy when you get into that financial space. But yeah, you can't just expect that because you do something for somebody else, they're going to give you something back. Right away, immediately, you get into very murky energy in that place. I have had the gift of being really supported when I opened up Space by Mama Medicine by my dear friend Anna Meyer. And getting into that pay it forward energy, because of her and her supporting me, for this round of Witchwise, I was able to give away $52,000 in scholarships. $52,000 in scholarships. And this is also because I really, really considered the correct energetic pricing for Witchwise. Honestly, it feels like it's a little bit on the low side to me, but I was thinking about myself when I was a young healer and what I would have been able to invest into my healing work at that time if I worked hard enough and saved and all of that. And you know, I don't do a payment plan, for example, with Witchwise, because I don't want to be your bank. I don't want to have to chase people down. I would rather, and the scholarships now are closed, by the way, because, you know, class starts on Monday. But I would rather give somebody a scholarship than do some kind of trade with them. I would rather, because I know that the ones who get the scholarships are going to be really focusing on paying that forward and putting beautiful energy out into the world when they get to a certain place. Just like I'm doing now, because I had someone supporting me along the lines of my growth with my business. And I really do think that Witchwise, you should look at it as an investment in yourself, because we're going to be doing a lot of ceremony, a lot of self-healing, but also an investment in your work, whether you're a creative, whether you're a healer, acupuncturist, massage therapist, yoga teacher, you know, whatever it is you're getting into. I think you will build a foundation for a lot of success in your work, as long as that work is in the highest good for all involved from doing this course. I'm going to give you one-on-one guidance with this. Again, like I said, this is as close as I get to a mentorship, because I really believe you should be a mentee or an apprentice to your own soul's calling. But I'm going to give you one-on-one guidance. There's a whole correspondence course with it. And then there's also a community where you can bounce ideas off of each other. I'm also right now, and this is different from when I offered Witch Wound in the autumn, I'm also creating a workbook for Witchwise, which I'm super, super excited about. And, you know, I want to just look back on Witch Wound for a second, because I offered a different iteration of this course in the autumn. And it had a 98% completion rate. And almost everyone who signed up for the course was there during our 2-hour weekly meetings. So, you know, even if they couldn't come, they would join later, because of course, you know, the 2-hour workshops that we do together is recorded, and you can take it bits and pieces here and there, and you can take it at your own pace. But even the ones who are going at their own pace would be reaching out to me about the week and how they felt with it. And I feel like for the plethora of online courses that are out there, a 98% completion rate is just kind of unheard of. And I think it is because folks realize very quickly into our first meeting that they're getting something that they cannot get anywhere else. And this is because what I am offering in Witchwise is coming truly from me. I'm so deeply grateful to the experiences and teachers I've had along the way, and to the books that I've read. But to me, offering this course, the only way to do it with really clear and clean energy is to focus solely on offering it from my wisdom, what I've experienced. And I'm a pretty nerdy person, I would say. Like, I love like a good deep nerd out. So sometimes there's deep dives, and we're getting into like facts on this, and, you know, a bit of plant magic and plant medicine and what the plants have to offer, and a little bit of human anatomy, and, you know, just also like, I love learning about business. I love business. I find business fascinating. So also getting into like some facts and things, and a nerd out with healing business. But mostly what this course will be is just sharing my own wisdom. So it's over 20 years of experience from someone who I would consider very, very successful in the healing space, you know, and I'm really proud of who I am and where I am, and I'm really proud of that girl who was so young and living off of food stamps and just scraping everything together because she believed in what she did so much. And I view this offering as a way of also like reclaiming her and calling her in and telling her, like, look at how far you've gotten, and now you're able to help so many people grow into who they're meant to be from this space. So I will really say, I hope that you join me for Witchwise. I hope that it feels like the right time for you. I hope that you're also feeling this call right now, like there's so much healing needed in the world, and we really have to like step up, and we really have to remove the filters and say all the things that we've always been so afraid of saying. So I want to just, invite you to join me, and to join me now. And also the intunement that is right before the Witchwise course begins. It could be really beautiful for you to do the intunement and also join for Witchwise. So I'm going to take a couple questions. I want to thank you all for hearing me out so much. I'm just going to pop into... Oh, I see a lot of witch wounders in there. And this is the thing, like, I've noticed that, because Witchwise now is almost 80% full. And I've noticed that there's a lot of people who took Witch Wound in the fall who are also joining for Witchwise. And I love that, because this course is going to be so different from what you experienced in the fall. As I was sharing with the folks who took Witchwise in the past, or Witch Wound, because now we're turning the wound into wisdom, because we grow through what we go through. It's not possible for me to repeat the same course twice. So like this 7-week container, meeting for 2 hours every week, and everything else that I offer within the course, that container can remain the same, but what I actually offer in the course varies on who is in the course. It's almost as if the whole entire Witchwise course is one big medicine reading ceremony for me. Like I'm reading the individuals, and I'm reading the collective group and the energy that is shared, and then basing what I offer on what is needed for this specific group and what is in the highest good for all involved with this specific group, and how to bring things forward and to offer guidance in a way that builds confidence to being an apprentice to your own soul's calling. So let's see. Ooh, I love this question. This is such a good question. Michaela asks, what comes after wisdom? Ooh, it's so good. It's so good. And I think what comes after wisdom is freedom. I think what comes after wisdom is freedom and peace. True peace. If I did the intunement in the fall, can I do it again in the spring? You can do the intunement again. I wouldn't repeat it too many times because it's pretty intense. With the intunement, there's a little bit of potential for healing crisis that can happen before the intunement and after. But if you're really feeling like you should do it again, then go for it. I have to say, too, that I think that working with me in general, whether it's for Witchwise or it's for a medicine reading or it's an intunement, there is this kind of healing crisis energy that can come up where you feel maybe like a little nauseous, or you have a headache, or that's very normal, and it's really just energy transforming within you. I really want to say too that, and this is what I'm going to leave you with, when working with energy, you want to make sure that you never throw anything away. Own all of your experiences. Own all of the energy that you carry. Try to not shame or guilt or judge the energy, but really own it, and at the same time allow it to transform. Those of you who follow me on Instagram might notice that I'm a deep lover of discovering the sacred places all over this earth. And a lot of times when I go to these different sacred places, I notice that there's a lot of kind of energetic litter there. Like I asked you before, you know, when you're doing psychic surgery or energy block removal, where does the energy go? And like a lot of times people are like, okay, I'm going to put this energy into the earth. Well, the earth doesn't need more of that heaviness, you know? And just like you wouldn't throw out a piece of paper on the ground, you would find a way to like recycle it or transform it in some way because you love the earth. I think we should do the same thing with energy. We're not throwing things away. We're always working with transformation because that is what really gives us the opportunity to work in a way that is in the highest good for all involved. So I hope you're walking away from this webinar today feeling like you are so inspired to be your own healer. And remember that this was just a really tempting little taste of what is in Witchwise. And I will see you again whenever you feel like it's time, and hopefully that time will be Monday. Bye for now. Take care. Thank you so much.